Okay, if you watched my video earlier today, you heard me tease that I was going to be putting out another video that everything the Detroit Lions are doing right now is pointing in one direction, and I see it. I don't know if it's going to end up happening, but I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna call it right now. And if you haven't seen that previous video, I really kind of nerded out getting into the salary cap. And if you're a salary cap nerd and you like talking voided years and you like talking all that stuff, go check out that other video. But finish watching this one first because I'm going to give you a quick little preview of what I talked about as well. So the Detroit Lions find themselves in a tricky salary cap situation. Not tricky, not perfect. Okay. And what we see here is next year with only 36 players signed. Look at where my mouse is. Look at me, look at me, look at me, follow me. All right. So this year we have 67 players under contract at 2.3 million, we'll call it 2.03 million. Next year we already have 203 million. What is wrong with me? Next year, we have 186 million already on the books, but only 36 players signed. All right. We have currently this year, we have 10 million in dead cap. Money, in other words, that we are spending, but no players are coming out of it. That can be done in voided years. That can be bonuses. I think it's 6-ish million in voided years and 4 million in Brocker's cut that we have to pay him. Next year, it's not up here. It's already at 11.5 million in just voided years. That's if we don't cut anyone. That's if we don't do anything like that. So it's already at 11.5 million, which actually puts this number closer to 197 million. So with only almost half the players, we're already at almost the exact same salary cap for next year. So why is that? And what can we do about it? So this is what the direction is pointing to. Are you ready for it? Don't turn off this video. I want you to hear my argument for it. It's all pointing toward the Detroit Lions drafting a quarterback with the number 6 pick. I got more for you. Brad Holmes. He has been pretty outspoken about how he put this team in a difficult position. He put this team in a bad position without a backup quarterback last year, a good backup quarterback. He basically said Sudfeld wasn't worth it, and which I thought was interesting. It's like, oh, we probably won't re-sign him. If we end up re-signing him, talk about awkward. Hey, boss, why did you keep talking about how we had no good backup quarterback and then you re-signed me? It doesn't make me feel good about my job. But we had no backup quarterback that was worth it. And if Goff went down, he's in, and I think we'd struggle big time. Now we have 2 reasons to draft a quarterback. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's right. Maybe it's Tanner McKee in the 3rd round, and he sees something in him, and that's the route we go. But here's what I'm saying. When you look at our salary cap situation going forward, our dead cap this year's 10 million. Next year, it's already at 11.5. If we can keep that thing under 15, I'd be amazed. I would be amazed. And that's when you get into that 15, 20, like all of a sudden 25, you're like, wow, that's a lot of dead cap. You want to keep that number small. I think 10 million this year is pretty good. But the fact that we already have 11 million next year. So, what does that mean? And so what we're going to do now is look at who that player could be at number 6. And I think it makes sense. If I'm being completely honest, that it's going to be none other than Will Levis. Okay. So I don't know if he's kind of this. Here's what I do know. There's a reason the Detroit Lions sent everybody and their kids seemingly to go to 2 different Florida Gators games to watch Anthony Richardson to see what he could do. But more and more, it's looking like Anthony Richardson just simply won't be available at number 6. It seems like everybody is putting him to the Colts at 4, and that they're hyping it up that he could even go earlier than that. I'm not sure I buy it, but I do buy him to the Colts at number 4, which leaves Will Levis right there. Will Levis is not a bad athlete. He's a pretty good athlete. He has a tremendous arm. He has, I won't say pinpoint accuracy because he doesn't. He has proven that he can have a very good season in 2021 when he had a good offensive coordinator that ended up going to the NFL. And I think now he's back at Kentucky. He had a PFF grade of 90.6 6. Then in 2022, when he was under a not as good coordinator, did not have as many weapons around him, and quite frankly, was playing with a lot of injuries. His PFF grade then plummeted, but you are not getting a guy like this for his you're not getting a guy like this just for his on-field numbers. You're getting him for his skill set. So what is his skill set? What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? And I decided to go in and kind of, you know, look at this a little bit. Strengths, prototype size, build for an NFL quarterback. That's true. Taking snaps under center. That's good. We want a guy who can do a play action. Like there's no doubt in that. He's played in a pro style passing scheme that required full field reads. Thank you. Love that. Athletic passer and working off a platform. It releases compact, twitchy, effortless. He has a cannon. He really does. He's tough, played through injuries, serious arm talent with the ability to complete passes in tight windows. Thank you. You need that for the NFL. Can send deep passes over the heads of late safeties, ability to slide and throw simultaneously from the pocket, and willing and capable runner near the goal line. Here are his struggles. All right. He threw to a lot of targets behind the line of scrimmage. Okay, fine. That's more of a scheme thing and what you have, but I understand that. We said the same thing about Goff. Inconsistent post snap confidence to throw on time. Okay. Uncomfortable working against short zones. Big struggles finding his rhythm as a passer in 2022. That is the system and not understanding it, I believe. Falls into off platform throws rather than trusting the footwork. That's also an arm talent thing. Scattershot ball placement and accuracy on simple throws, poor feel inside the pocket for pressure points, career touchdown interception ratio falls below the 2-to-1 mark, poor second reaction decision making with the football. Do you know who a lot of those weaknesses sound like? Jared Goff. So I'm not saying he is Jared Goff, but Jared Goff is due this year 30 million, next year 31 million. The year after that, I'll keep talking about it. It's going to be 40, 45, 50. I'd say closer to that 45, 50, especially if it puts together another couple of years like last year. Do the Detroit Lions need to start looking for a different quarterback or a different potential quarterback to see if we can get someone close so that we're not paying Jared Goff 45 million? 30 million is good. You see what 30 million does to the cap. What is 45 million going to do? 45, 50 million. You need an elite quarterback to pay him that money. Jared Goff is elite when he doesn't have pressure. If he can prove that he can do other things, great. Great. But if you draft Will Levis and he can prove that he can be similar to Jared Goff throwing the ball, but also add a little mobility, completely changes things. So I do think that the things that the Lions are doing with the salary cap, with attacking everything in free agency, not named quarterback, it does start to feel like quarterback will be drafted in this upcoming draft. Let me know your thoughts. Be kind. Somebody had to say it. See you on the next one.